This campus of Alexandra Hospital is more than just a healthcare hub. We're gonna take you through some lesser known sites. Let's have a look. Let's go! In the main garden, some artifacts from the past still sit here today. In fact, you can even sit on them. These benches have been here since the 1950s. The fountain has been changed thrice up until its current form, the Lady at the Pond. The landscape of this garden was vastly changed in the early 2000s. Today, it is home to many species of flowers as well as herbs. It has also been adorned with our new heritage plaque. This was relayed in early 2020, and the plaque tells a brief history of Alexandra Hospital and its contributions during the Second World War. The main building of Alexandra Hospital was augmented with a sheltered porch in the early 2000s. Besides housing its clinics and wards, an extension was built in 2013 to house the 24-hour urgent care center. This is one of 4 entrances leading in to the basement level of our hospital, fortified by a wall of bricks. Today, this leads straight into a gate, meaning that this place is now out of bounds to public access. Most of these bricks were manufactured in the former Alexandra Brickworks factory down Alexandra Road. Every brick has been engraved with the name of the factory it was made in. Right here at the east end of our campus stands block number 8. What used to be a therapy room is now our very own seminar room. Making our way along the eastern wing of the hospital, we pass a set of structures, with the majority of them built in 1949. They consisted of stores and even a sister tutor department for training male nurses. As the only football field in a local public hospital that retains its full form today, the Alexandra Field used to be the site of parades and gatherings. During the Malayan emergency, it was most commonly used as a heli landing pad. Built in the mid-1960s, this water tower stands proud and tall behind what was then known as the Sergeant's Mess. Block 19A, Alexandra House. This used to be billets for nurses of the QARANC, that's Queen Alexandra Royal Nursing Corps. Garden billet at Elizabeth House, that's block 19 right there. Not to be confused with block 19A that we saw earlier. Now, this block here consists of 2 main wings. The first was built in 1949, that's the eastern wing, and you have the western wing, built sometime around 1958. Of course, these also used to house nurses, the QARANC. Of course, what we know today as Block 19 is now home to our support ops. Walking up a height takes you to Block 18, built in 1938. It was formerly the residence of the commanding officer
and later the Chief Ward Master. The first resident of this bungalow would have been Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Wilfred Craven. Subsequently, from the 1950s, commanding officers were accorded a much larger living space in the adjacent Alexandra Park. As we make our way past the main stores, there's a hidden gem right behind it.
Hidden behind the main stores, our current clubhouse, which is also the former Navy quarters.
Some married staff of the Royal Army Medical Corps, or RAMC, were clustered together with their families within this compound in the 1950s and 60s.
Let's make our way down this road past Block 27. This used to be the former BMH Nurses Academy, and later on was a set of SAF wards. Of course, this today has now become our new laboratory, which replaces a much older former laboratory right there. Let's have a look. This is what we're talking about. The former Far East Land Forces Pathology Lab at Block 24.
The ground floor of the lab building was the site of its clinic, while the upper floor housed a rest area for night duty officers. Making our way across the road, it's the auditorium, the former chapel of the hospital.
This right here is the last surviving piece of history of the old chapel. The old baptismal font, a receptacle of water for babies to be christened here. This portrait hanging here was taken sometime around the early 1970s. Today, of course, you can still make out most of the buildings from the periphery as well as the main building. All of these still exist in its form today. Of course, one thing of note would be the red crosses on the rooftop. These existed during the time when the hospital was under the British administration.
The main hall of the chapel was later converted into an office for medical records before becoming an auditorium.
Block 26, looking really peaceful, really serene. This was the site of the old mortuary, where people take their eternal rest. These fire alarms are still active at Block 29, the former site of the old Nappy Canteen and the Corporal's Mess. Today, it's home to our very own cafeteria.
If you'd like to take a brief trip down memory lane, come over to the main lobby. You'll be greeted by our 80th anniversary heritage wall, showcasing milestones from the hospital's inauguration right until our takeover in 2018. Alexandra Hospital will be redeveloped into a larger, integrated health campus by 2030, providing one-stop, full medical services with innovation at its core in order to deliver better care and health to everyone.